The dynamic in relationships with avoidance can make it easy to confuse attraction, born from genuine interest, with attraction driven by rejection trauma that creates a very, very strong pull. This video is about understanding what this pull is and how to break it. Simply put, the pattern with avoidance feels like they choose you but never completely. And this strategy matches well with the strategies one uses when operating from the trauma of rejection or the trauma of being unchosen. And here is how rejection trauma and the pull it creates works. And it's actually not just about fear of rejection. It develops when you experience being neglected or not chosen in early development stages. And that can happen in many forms, even if a significant adult appeared caring. Rejection trauma forms when your true needs remained unrecognized. And that's already enough for the psyche to experience that as rejection. The next phase in the development of rejection trauma is when the rejection that happened outside becomes something we start doing to ourselves in the form of prioritizing other people's needs above our own. This happens not mainly because we fear rejection, but because our true needs continue to go unrecognized. Since in our early attachment experiences, those needs were not fully recognized or validated, it becomes difficult for us to validate them ourselves later on. Instead, rejection trauma creates a compensatory need to be chosen. This leads to the belief that love must be fought for and earned, and the other person becomes a way to prove your own worth and importance. As a result, staying in a relationship is driven by the fear of losing significance in the eyes of the other, rather than the desire to truly get to know them and actually be able to identify if we are even a good match. When you are consumed by the need to be chosen, to fight the sense of lack from the past, there is no space left to identify what your true needs are in the present. And this pull happens when the mind seeks someone who triggers memories of past caregivers, basically in hopes to recreate the situation to finally get those unmet needs recognized. This drive becomes very strong, that creating a specific experience with this person starts feeling crucial, even though it's about healing old wounds rather than forming healthy, happy relationship in the present. The dynamic with avoidance is perfect for triggering that projection. And the psyche believes it's finally getting a chance to have the unmet need recognized and fulfilled in an effort to get rid of that sense of lack. But when it finds itself in a situation that feels like old trauma, it reverts back to the defense of needing to be chosen instead of addressing the true situational need. So how to identify and break this pull? The first thing to understand is the authentic need provides relief as soon as you recognize it, even before you start working to fulfill it. In contrast, a compensatory need can never be truly satisfied because it is rooted in the hunger from the past. But here are a few questions that can help you identify how rejection trauma can distort reality. The first question, who are you when they do not choose you, don't notice you, or don't respond? And this question exposes how much of your self-worth is tied to their reaction. Do you feel like nothing without their attention, or do you stay connected to yourself? The next question, do you only become valuable in your own eyes when you are needed, important, or desired by them? This can help you identify a deep belief. Your value is equal their interest or their love, their reaction, their attention or their need for you. But if you are needed by no one, then what remains? Do you exist for yourself? And the next question, do you want to be with them, or do you want them to want to be with you? It's one of the most honest questions. Often the desire to be close isn't about love. It's about more feeling important for someone else. If they choose you, it gives you a sense, okay, I'm okay. But if not, it gives you a sense, I'm not enough. And here is the last one. It's not a question, but I think a very powerful phrase that you can try saying out loud and feel how it really helps with the trauma of the rejection pull. I allow you not to choose me. This simple statement helps release the need to be chosen in order to feel validated. It breaks the cycle of seeking approval and reconnects you with your own value and hopefully identify the real need, real desire. Rejection trauma is like a swamp. When you're in it, it makes you feel anger and shame, as if you weren't good enough. And if you were, they would give you what you want. The pain from this feeling can be very intense, and it almost immediately turns into a sense of badness, like something is wrong with me, that you just want to pass on to someone else. And that's why it's so much easier to focus on other people's flaws, but it's a dead end. Shame acts as a protection, and there are always deeper layers if you look beyond it. But if we can't identify or understand this shame, if we just pass it onto someone else, then we can see what's behind it. And it's usually pain. It is the pain of how vulnerable we feel when we approach closeness, because it's difficult to realize how important yet uncertain the influence of another person can be. But only if we can do this can we then realize the importance of our own need for closeness. And once we understand this, we can find ways to fulfill it and choose relationship where there is more love than pain. And if you see signs of rejection trauma, if you find yourself constantly choosing pain over closeness, DM me the word transform to book your first free session and take the first step toward creating the relationship that you want for yourself. And as always, please comment, like, subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.